I pushed the Facebook a little late. And we're live on all venues. Well, welcome everybody to Monday Night Live.
That's the best part of the week, if you ask me.
I'm Dean Nixon, Kate Semmens, TurningLeaf Wellness Center out of sunny St. George, Utah.
Ah, yes. I just love it so much. We're in the hundreds now, so come join us.
I do. I love the heat. I'm not going to lie.
I do too.
This is my jam. I can do hot all the time. But the cold. I moved down south for a reason.
Yep.
So we're excited to come at you this morning. Woo.
That's where we're at right now, you guys. That is where we're at.
This afternoon, Monday evening. And to jump into our topic, we're so excited about tonight and what we're going to talk about. Stand up for yourself.
Yes. So can I just get really transparent with them?
Apparently.
Is that all right with you? You give me your permission.
I do what you want.
So last week we were kind of going over how we could start maybe a weekly group where we go over our value-based parenting technique that we have here at TurningLeaf Health and Wellness Center. We kind of thought, well, maybe Tuesday night this would be a good idea, kind of batting it around. And so today, that's what we were going to talk to you about, was how we were going to do that. But Dean's like, oh, we really need to revisit this. I just started power yoga and I'm really liking it. And it's only on Tuesday nights.
Now, I thought you were going to get transparent about you, not transparent about me.
I asked your permission in front of everyone.
To get transparent about you.
So anyway, so this is how we came up with this topic. And he's like, I really don't want to do the group on Tuesday nights. This is important to me. And I was like, high five, boom, way to stand up for yourself. Because quite honestly, you guys, that's something that I really struggle with, is being able to like put me as a priority first.
Right.
Because I think there's lots of reasons that I go into service mode, into superhero mode, into I can do it all, boom, 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 and then consequently I get put last.
Right.
And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is different ways that we can put ourselves first.
And stand up for yourself.
Right. And I think another piece that I really want to go over is to be okay with that, right? Because sometimes it feels really selfish and like, oh, I can't. Like, almost like, who am I to put myself first, right? Like, I don't know. A lot of us have a lot of different upbringings and stuff, but a lot of my being raised was a service attitude, right? Like, we serve our neighbors, we serve our fellow humans and our family members, and so consequently we get put on the back burner a little bit. And so there's a lot of those underlying belief systems that kind of need to be brought up as well. Yeah,
100%. And that's really where a lot of this comes from, is we have a belief about who we are, and that belief has a lot to do with, as you put it, the upbringing, the beliefs that are either handed to us directly or inferred, and they're beliefs that we take on, and beliefs about worthiness and how to serve and how to give of self. And it is important to be service-oriented and be service-minded. I mean, that is an important part of who we are as human beings. And we need to be able to put ourselves in positions where we can take care of other people, but we also have to be in a position where we have the capacity to take care of other people.
Right.
And so, as you outed me,
I'm so grateful.
On my power yoga, I've really been just craving it, and it's something that I truly enjoy and something I enjoy doing. And so as I was thinking about it, it's that piece of being able to have the capacity to take care of others. And for me, I have to take care of this. I'm getting a little bit older. I'm not old.
And wiser too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not old. I don't even consider myself old, but I do know that my body is getting to a point where if I don't keep on top of it and take care of it and maintain it, then it will become a problem. So to be able to take care of other people, to be there for other people, I do have to be able to take care of myself.
Right. Well, and I think that even just take that a little bit step further, like, we're really all we got. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you can love as many people as you can love, and you can connect and hone in with others. And I think that's a beautiful piece of our existence as humans. But really, a huge piece of it is just you. Like, it's you. And so like there's so much of the beautiful empowerment of loving yourself that you're just like reaffirming to yourself that you're important to you, that pushes you farther in life, I think.
Yes. And that's really the important piece also to remember, is that at the end of the day, you're the one that has to deal with the lack of time. You're the one that has to deal with the pressure. You're the one that has to deal with the fatigue and all of those things. And that's why it's so important
to
take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, to take care of yourself.
So I did mention that I was going to get transparent, because I was like, oh, we have to talk about this, because I can think of like 6 things over the last 3 weeks that I was just like, boom, put everything else in front of taking care of me.
Right.
So I feel like I personally have a lot of things that stack up against me. I'm an optimist, right?
Yes, you are.
I'm always the glass is half full. I can totally do this, and this in the next hour, and really I can only do this and this, right? So I have unrealistic expectation of time and of myself, and then I'm a pleaser. Like I like to be there for people. I like to pitch hit. I like to be a good team player, and so all that kind of makes a perfect storm oftentimes when things get shaken up.
Right.
And so last week we had an experience happen.
But I want to pause you. I want to wait.
Okay.
So this is really one of the key pieces that I wanted to point out, is this is the belief system that we have about ourselves, right?
True. And so I love that you're pointing this out.
We go down through a list. We have this list, and your list, I'm an optimist. I'm a pleaser. And so we have these beliefs about ourselves. And these are the keys, these are the pieces that we want to keep working towards breaking up and dissipating and hanging on to the pieces that are healthy and letting go of the pieces that are unhealthy. Because those beliefs we use to define ourselves, and those definitions are what keep us stuck in that same loop where I can't say no, or I overcommit. And I hear it from, the other things I hear is, well, I'm a parent. Or it's my responsibility, or I'm the oldest in the family, and mom and dad are gone, or it's always this list of things that I hear constantly from people.
I'm the only one that knows how to do it right.
I can't. Yeah, I'm the only one that does, and if I don't do it, nobody
else will do it.
I've asked them, parents. I've asked them over, and I'm tired of the tantrums. So I just do it myself because it's easier. And granted, I should probably do it because it helps them learn, but I am tired of it. Like it's the story. It's the belief that we have about who we are and the space that we fill, and how much of it is I have these beliefs that make me who I am. If I lose these beliefs, then who am I?
Right.
And if I lose these beliefs, then who am I? And part of it is I start to serve, I start to do because I need people to appreciate or value who I am.
Yes. So once again, it just goes back to getting your value externally.
Exactly.
Right.
So I interrupted. So
no, you're good.
Go
It was
ahead.
perfect. It was a perfect interruption. I loved every second of it. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, Sydney, who works at our front desk, she had an appointment. And so she just texted me and said, hey, could you be here a little bit early so I can get to this appointment? And I had not planned on doing that in my day. But of course, I was like, yes, I can make that happen. I can do that. It can happen. And it couldn't. And so I was running late, and I was trying really hard because I'd have all these other responsibilities that I really can't say no to, like the caretaking of my father and things like that.
Right.
And so then not only do I couple me not really taking the time to sit with what I can do and what I should do, right? For myself, putting myself and my needs first. But then now I've disappointed someone and let them down because I overcommitted.
Right.
Right. And couldn't fulfill that end of it. So then she needed to reschedule her appointment to a different time, which ended up working out. But if I would have just been able to and in mine and yours coaching that day, I brought it up.
Right.
About how potentially a way to navigate that is just to take a minute and actually sit with myself and be like, all right, is this really, instead of just because I think for me that becomes a pitfall.
Right.
Is I feel this urgency to do something, like, yes, boom, I'm in there, I can do it. when if I were to just take a breath and like actually analyze the situation, I would have probably been able to see, oh, I'm sorry, Sid, there's no way I can get there at that time.
Yeah. And those are some of the solutions. So that first one is to sit with it, to take a minute, and take the space to just sit with something before you respond or before you react to it. And as you're asking those questions, there's questions you want to ask of yourself. And the first question that you want to ask of yourself is, do I have, number one, the time to complete this task? Number two, do I have the capacity to complete this task? Now, that's not just the physical capacity. So I'm not going to say, well, yeah, I can lift a piano all by myself. But
it's because of the power yoga, folks. Piano lifting because of power yoga.
I can't. I'm saying I can't.
Oh, dang it. I messed it up.
So, and then also the emotional capacity.
Right.
So not just the physical capacity, but the emotional capacity. And once you check in with those and get the answers of yes, yes, and yes, then go ahead and commit to it. But if the answer is no in any of those, that's where you need to slow down and you need to be honest. You've got to be honest. And we talked about that last week. We talked about honesty versus being polite. And so for those of you that are tuning in for the first time that you haven't seen our other videos, go back in through the other feeds. Last week we talked about the difference between being honest and why we don't want to be honest. We don't want to be honest because we want to be polite. And so a lot of times we are making commitments to things that we have no business making commitments to. Then we let people down. Then we let ourselves down. Then we feel guilt. Then we feel shame. When in reality, it is important for us to sit back and take the time to ask ourselves those questions.
Which can be tricky, right? I think.
Tell me why.
Well, in this example, right? So you get a text message from someone that's like, hey, can you do this for me? And you're right, this is just me. And here I go. I'm already thinking about it, my belief systems and everything else that we just went over. Like, even just to take that 5 minutes feels like, oh gosh, they think I'm ignoring them. What are they thinking? And Sid, I wish you were on right now, but we could ask her if she was with us. But she probably wouldn't have felt bad at all if I would have been like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I cannot do it.
And I know her well enough to know Sid would have been
like,
fine.
Okay, thanks.
She will just find the next solution.
Exactly, yes. So I'm taking...
And I love that you said that. I love that you said that. Because you're like, but that's tricky. And it's like, yeah, why is that tricky to you? And that's what I love about why, when we do these lives, I'm so grateful. And I hope you are too. I'm so grateful for how transparent Kate always is and willing to just kind of put herself out there for us. Because a lot of us can relate. A lot of us can relate to that. Because a lot of times I hear in session when I'm working with people will be like, that's easier said than done.
Right.
Yes, it is. And it should be easier said than done, because if it was easier done than said, then you wouldn't be here. Right? We wouldn't be in the predicament that we're in. So it is a little tricky, and you just explained one of the reasons why it is tricky. One of the reasons it's tricky is because of the greatest human need that we're always talking about. We talk about it in the book, the 4 Steps to Confidence. We talk about it in the Value-Based Parenting book. We talk about it in all these pieces, that the greatest human need is to feel valued. And we have learned to get that value externally. So it does get tricky, because then it goes back to the belief about ourselves. The belief is, am I worthy? What will people think?
Right.
How will they respond? What are they thinking? And then we start going to that imagination that we're not putting boundaries with.
Right. And then on the flip side, that when I overcommit and I'm unable to fulfill that, then it also just reaffirms that I'm not worthy.
Right.
And it, like, my downward spiral, that's what I call it. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I call it that. Like, my downward spiral of just like self-deprecation of nasty that I know we all do. It's that like domino effect that we do in our brain sometimes that just takes us to our dark places. Instead of sitting with myself and being like, okay, Yeah, no, it is more important to me that I finish reading this chapter in my book and then I can get ready and go to work.
Yep.
Like that's what is important to me today.
Yep.
And then having the kindness and the grace to sit with yourself and be like, high five, sister, you're right. That's important to us today.
And it's important that you take that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the part that we have to recognize. And as Oprah Winfrey said, I love her quote, you know, and I'm giving her credit. I'm assuming it was her.
Hi, Oprah.
Hi, Oprah. I'm giving her credit for it, but she said, you know, we teach people how to treat us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth, is if I don't pause for myself, if I don't stand up for me, then how come I expect everybody around me to stand up for me? And I think that's my biggest concern in life, is that a lot of us we're waiting for somebody else. And I hear this so many times from people. I wish somebody would treat me as well as I treat other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I always want them to kind of turn that around and say, I wish I treated myself as well as I treated other people. Because that's really what is important, is we have to treat ourselves as well as we would treat other people. And we're so much kinder, we're so much more patient, we're so much more, as we talked about last week, you know, polite, etc., that we're constantly pleasing all these other people, but instead of standing up for ourselves. And again, going back to what I said at the beginning, is I'm not saying don't be of service. I'm not saying don't take care of other people. Do. It's important that we do. But it's also important that we teach people, hey, I am of worth. I am worthy of time. I don't need to answer right away. And that, oh my gosh, that is one of the craziest things. We live in this world where we expect people to answer right away.
Yeah.
And I remember being a kid, calling on the telephone that's hooked to the wall, mind you, that if I wanted privacy, I had to go into the food pantry and close the door for privacy. And even then, somebody could pick up the other line in the house. Okay, I'm kind of dating myself. But the point is that if somebody didn't answer, I just hung up. And I didn't think the worst. But nowadays, it's like, oh my gosh, they're not answering. What's going on? What's going on? Or
they left me on red.
Yeah,
oh dear.
They blocked me. Yeah.
So many teens have a hard time with that. Like, he read it. He left me on red and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You know, like,
just left it. Didn't even respond. And that's where we really start to overthink, overanalyze. We're so quick with all of our, you know, the glass window, which I call whatever you're watching us through. I call it the glass window. We're so quick on our glass window with the reactions, the responses, that and the stimulation coming at us, that we expect everything to be coming to us right away. And that's where we've got to be okay with taking a beat, taking time, asking ourselves those 3 questions, and then making a decision.
So then I guess the next piece of it is being able to know yourself well enough to really get the right answer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I think that's another thing, is that are we willing to be introspective enough? Are we willing to look inside of ourselves enough to really make a decision about when do I need to intervene for me? So if you got a loved one, they know when to intervene, right? I always call it the wingman. You know, you go out, and I get this a lot, you know, I'll go in crowds and people will be talking to me, and sometimes I need to be rescued. And there are people in my life that can tell, like, he needs somebody to step in, and they can step in and rescue me. Well, sometimes I need to be that person for me. I need to know when to step in and rescue me. I need to know how my personality works. I need to know what I'm the most susceptible to with guilt and shame, the most susceptible vulnerability wise. And that's when I need to be able to be my own wingman and step in.
I love it. You're the Maverick and the Goose.
Yes.
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 Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Hi, Tom Cruise. We're just shouting out to all the celebs tonight.
But the real people that are saying hello to us, we haven't. So hello, all these people. So
yes.
Parrish, how are you? And Oscar, it's
And
good to see you.
Amanda.
Amanda,
You guys are all
I think there's some
wonderful.
others I think we missed.
Oh, Parrish says, wow, I'm totally Kate. Girl, I feel you. You know I feel you.
So we appreciate you guys all tuning in, and really thank you for liking and sharing our videos and commenting. Thank you. I know that it's hard as we're in the middle, it's hard to say hello to you all, but trust us, we are so grateful that you're tuning in, and hello to you. So
my last thought on just where
please.
we're at is I feel, obviously I'm still very much on this journey of recognizing my emotional self and what it's telling me, my physical self and what it's telling me, my mental self and what it's telling me. But I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like as you walk the path, right? There is no right and wrong. As we walk the path and as we honor those pieces of ourselves more, the more that A, we learn to trust ourselves, and B, those pieces of us speak up more.
Right.
And let us know, hey, no, that's not really healthy for me today.
Right.
I can't do power yoga today.
No, I can.
I know, but maybe your physical body says
right.
tomorrow, maybe it's like, hey, today's not a great day, Dean. We're going to have to wait a week.
I'm still standing up for myself.
Yeah, I switched
it on me.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's true. And even there will come a day where I'll be like, I'm too fatigued. I need to not go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But we have to honor ourselves in order to trust ourselves, to be able to hear ourselves. Are you guys catching this?
Yes.
Okay,
it
good.
Makes sense.
Okay, good.
Well, thank you all for tuning in once again. We appreciate it. So grateful. So humbled by your interactions and your sharing. And thank you, everybody. Hello, TJ. All these different feeds, people chirping or chiming in and saying hello. We really appreciate you. Again, like and share the videos. Please comment, send us messages. We love being able to interact with you in all that we do.
Yes, we do.
On behalf of myself and Kate and Turning Leaf here in St. George, have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Yes.
I'm going high.
I'll go low.
All right.
Good night.
We're going to turn these off.